Hello, everyone. It's the People's Realtor, Realty Ryan, here on another episode of the Prefect Perspective. Today, with our special guest, Mr. Alex Singh, aka Alex the
The
Realtor.
realtor.
Yeah, all right. Welcome, Alex. Good to
Oh,
have you.
thank you for having me, guys.
Awesome, awesome. So, Alex is actually one of the newer parts of the team. Alex, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, your background, and what brought you into the real estate industry?
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, originally I'm from South America, Guyana,
Lit.
and I moved to the U.S. like three years ago.
That's tough.
And being a young kid, I have a lot of goals and dreams, and I always wanted to be a successful person. So I started doing a lot of reading and a lot of research and stuff. And there's one thing I learned is that real estate, it's the game where all the money is at.
That's
That's
real.
where most of the millionaires is at.
That's what they say.
So I decided, start doing research and like real estate investing is the way to go. You either buy multi, get passive income from it, you do fix and flip, you do
That's
wholesaling,
lit.
whatever. And then I came across the opportunity to get my real estate license.
Lit.
And I decided it might be best thing to get my license. And that way I can learn the market, learn what's going on in the market, see the game firsthand basically, and before I start my investing journey, whatever. So yeah, that's basically why I decided to get into real estate. And that's why I'm here.
And how did you actually end up choosing Prefect Realty as your brokerage of choice to become an agent? Because you may not know at home, but to become a realtor, you need to sign on with a brokerage. You can't operate as just a realtor alone. So you have to find a brokerage that you feel is right for you and is going to do what it does. I chose Prefect because Fabian is my personal friend who I've known a long time. How did you learn about the brokerage and what made you decide to join in?
Well, I learned about a brokerage when I was trying to get an apartment for me and my family when we moved here, and I met Fabian at an open house actually.
Oh, that's
And
what's up.
and he's like, okay, like you guys spirit, whatever. He's gonna make sure he help us get the apartment or what's not. And I was being in contact with him afterwards, like trying to reach out to see if he have jobs for me. That's one thing. I used to
Right,
message him, since I just moved here, I was looking to basically build a network, get to know people.
right.
So I was looking for a job at the same time. So I used to reach out to him constantly. Hey, are you or any one of your agents looking for maybe an assistant, or an office assistant or something? And then after I came up with the opportunity, I can get my real estate license. I called him from like, hey, what do I do? And he was like, okay, you need to take the exam, you need to um,
Gotcha.
whatever, and then you need to get a broker. But whenever you get a license, whenever you pass your licensing exam, come by and let's have a conversation. That's why I'm here.
That's what's up.
Yeah,
So he actually helped you to attain a place and then you maintain a relationship. Beyond that, he's a real dude.
yeah,
Even though he's a brokerage, managing broker of the office, he didn't like see no reason not to help you
yeah.
and work on a rental for you. So that's awesome. That's the type of person I know. That's why we're here. That's why we do what we do. Customer service at its finest,
True.
and you're in the industry now. What do you think are some of the ups and downs of working in this market?
Well, we all know the market we're in right now. I don't want to say tough because they are very. It depends on your situation, of course.
Right,
It might be great for a seller, but not be so great for a buyer.
right,
So, I mean, let's just say, looking at a buyer perspective, due to the fact that there's lower inventory levels, it's kind of tough getting an offer accepted, and then that's one challenge. And also the second challenge is the stigma, basically, that's going on right now, or the perception, and everybody's under that. Oh, houses are too expensive to buy, and nobody wants to buy. Basically, everybody's like, oh, the houses are too expensive, and then with all of this that's going on, they don't want to buy right now.
right,
That's the challenge. But the beautiful thing, like the pros and the cons. The pros now is that I can work my own time,
right,
and it's not like I'm okay. I get to travel. That's one. I get to see all the many different towns that I show my clients
right.
homes. So I'm seeing new places every day. I'm meeting new people. Those are just some of the pros. It's a
Awesome.
lot of them, but those are just some of them.
Right. Great job. And you just picked up your first listing.
Yeah, yeah. That was
So
is.
congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
Right. From the podcast, shout out. Congratulations to this man. He's a newer agent. That's not an easy thing to take on. So big shout out to you for that. That's great job.
Thanks, bro.
And I hope it builds your belief in real estate and makes you continue moving forward and handling business because that's an awesome thing. It took like years in before I actually picked up my first listing. It was a friend. So it makes a difference. Keep doing what you're doing. We're proud of you. Definitely. And can you tell us a little bit about the market today? What do you think about these interest rates? Some people, we've had this discussion before about the right time to buy, and there is no particular time. Some may be better than others, but we're dealing with what, within the sixes right now for our interest rates?
Yeah. Well, you see, right now I'm gonna start off thinking from a seller perspective. You asked me to tell you a little bit more about the market. Now, if I'm a seller, now might be a great time to sell because the market right now, the prices are, I would say, at the peak,
Yes.
right? I mean, I don't
Yes.
see the prices getting more any higher anytime soon. I think that's really
And
at
they've
the
just
peak right now.
honestly keep peaking over the past couple
Couple
years,
years,
Alex.
exactly.
They
So,
haven't, yeah, come down at all. They haven't making any movement. So we'll see what the economy brings
yep.
on that.
So
And
in terms of a seller, I mean, but what a lot of people are saying is that they have right now a 3% mortgage on their home. No point in selling it to go get a 6% mortgage.
which makes
I mean,
sense.
so that's a tough end on the buyer aspect of things. But let's just say you're like you have multiple properties, you're investors, stuff like that. Selling right now might be a great opportunity
Right.
for you to gain all your equity and basically profit
Right.
from your investment that you made maybe 3 years ago.
Older person looking to retire
Yeah.
who's sitting on a bunch of property. Definitely.
But in term, there is also deals for buyers. There's so many ways buyers can get plenty deals from the market right now. We just
Right.
need to be on the lookout for them.
Right.
You know.
Time to own program.
Yep.
You know.
There's also invested in various multifamilies where
Right.
let's just say you're not living in it. All the floors would come together, pay the mortgage, and you're just building equity.
Right.
You just gotta find a way around it. I would say you can't want to be making minimum or whatever. I just want to own you know, how to say this? Kind of want to be like earning a reasonable amount, but want to own $1 million home or whatever. You need to start and work your way up.
Right.
We had a
Most
discussion
definitely.
many times, even at our seminar the other day.
Right.
Kind of want to start. You kind of want to be here and then jump all the way here. It's a process. You gotta
Right,
work the way
right,
up.
right. Definitely. And I always encourage people, even with the prices, go multi. Three families are hard to find, but go multi because most likely if it's in the higher prices, it's going to be in good condition. And as long as you can do that, like you said, you may, if you live there, be able to, live rent free type of thing in a nice environment, beautiful place. And if you don't live there, you may be able to still pay that off and then start gaining equity in the property and have an outstanding property that in the future could be worth more money. So it's never a bad time to buy because there's unlimited interest rates on renting. You're never
Yep.
getting any of that equity back, any of that money invested. It's,
True.
like
True.
leasing a car. At the end, you giving it back or you gonna pay it off either way, but you don't get that option even. So, when we're renting, we should really think about that. But once again, as we've stated before, there's some minimum requirements to purchase a home, same way as there's minimum requirements for renting.
Yep.
So keep that in mind. But yeah, so anything else you'd like the people to know about you, Alex, before we shoot out?
Yeah, Ryan. I mean, no, it's funny that you asked that is because this whole, like you mentioned earlier, that I got my first listing.
Right.
That whole experience there was, I was just surreal, because the listing, how I got the listing, it was from somebody that was trying to sell by themselves.
Wow.
A for sale by owner, as we call them in the industry. And I mean, I'm sure it's the biggest challenge trying to convince someone who is hell bent on selling by themselves, right?
Big old fizzbows.
Yeah, try to convince them to list with an agent and pay us a bunch of money.
Right.
So basically, I had to break it down to her and be like, okay, are you familiar with all the paperworks involved in a real estate transaction? I mean, you wouldn't want to get one of those wrong because guess what's gonna happen? You're gonna get sued,
Right.
right? Like, are you familiar that? Did you know that maybe 88% of buyers work with an agent? Because technically we're free if we're a buyer's agent.
Right.
Well, I don't want to say that because the Naira settlement changed a lot of stuff recently, but technically, right? So now, if you're a buyer, you see a FISBO, your client is interested, would you really want to show it much? Because remember, the FISBO is not really going to pay you anything.
Yeah, at that point, I would be trying to dig into my clients' pockets and possibly make them get a loan at that or
Yep.
increase their loan or dig into it for the cost of my commission.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's very weak.
Yeah, so I also had to explain to her that, that we don't just list the house on the MLS and just leave it. There's a
Right,
lot of more marketing that goes into it, like the stuff that we do. I mean, to name a few, the professional photography that we do,
right,
the fact that we listed in MLS, the fact that we do open houses, the fact that we do
right.
a bunch of other stuff to make sure that. But a lot of people are under the impression that real estate agents we just list it on the MLS, put a sign in the yard, and leave it, and they get
That's real.
20%, 5%, whatever percent the agent charges them, right? So it was like it was like an interrogation there with her. She was like, "Oh, but I can get this without paying you." I'm like, so I had to break it down to her, show her, okay, why is it important to use an agent.
That's
Let's
awesome.
just say, for example, now somebody submitted a lowball offer to her. We as experienced agent, we know how to respond to it, know how to negotiate better than she might
Right.
not. So yeah, that's something I would like you guys to know that something else about me. I'm good at persuading people apparently.
That's awesome. Now, did you do a CMA and all
Yeah,
that?
of course. I did a market analysis. I walked everything. I went over there full paperwork and everything, which you guys were laughing me, kind of
Right.
laughing at me for because I went with paperwork in this century, which everything is done online. But yeah,
Right. Good old e-sign.
good old
But
DocuSign.
why did you decide not to go with the e-sign and to go with the hard paper into
Well, the thing is, I like to be prepared for both situations, right? The client, she was kind of an older client, she's used to signing paperwork,
right.
and I'm used to paperwork too, because I just moved from the Caribbean where it's not so much DocuSign and stuff like that,
Right.
so I'm used to having paperwork with me. But I
Okay.
also took the DocuSign documents, but I prefer paperwork. It's just a
Gotcha.
preference.
That's awesome.
Yep. I
And
mean, I
it
could always
lets
scan it afterwards, right?
it let you be a little bit more interactive with your client. You
Yep.
went and
Yep.
met with them personally. And that's one thing, like I said, it's always important to establish trust. We say this all the time.
Yep.
So you went in there and you had a conversation. You told her what your value was in the transaction, explained that, and show her what her value was in trying to sell her asset.
Yep.
And that led to a deal between the two of you.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
awesome, awesome. And now that's great to hear because that reminds me of my first transaction was like a good friend of mine. It's a little bit different, but I did initially start like trying to do hard paper with them because I wanted to get into that same personal feeling. Like I said, you go sit down with them. But my friend actually ended up moving, so in the end, it turned into a DocuSign type of situation. So you saying you're prepared for both situations, you gotta be,
Got to.
because you never know what could happen.
I
So
mean, it's for example. I mean, sorry to like cut
no,
you
you
off or
good,
whatever,
bro.
but I don't want it happening to me like what happened the first time I did a showing. I turned
What's that?
up and couldn't open the lockbox and was just there fidgeting for like 20 minutes trying to get it open. And I think it kind of looks bad on me because I'm like, you're an agent but can't open a lockbox.
Right, right, right,
I
right.
didn't want that happening to me.
You ain't had that A B C D E F G
No, I had
joint,
the
did you?
super lockbox, man, the tech
Oh,
one.
he ain't had an app. He ain't had an app, y'all. You
The
gotta get
Bluetooth
the app.
wasn't on, guys. The
That's
Bluetooth
all
wasn't
he
on.
was tweaking. Bluetooth was off. Everything's got to be on.
The
Allow.
location and stuff.
All of that. Give it away. Telling on yourself. But cool, Alex. That's awesome. Like, bro, just so you know, we're really happy to have you a part of the team. Uh, Anyone who's interested in real estate should find a brokerage that's right for them, a place where they're comfortable. Like you fit right in here the same way all the rest of us fit as puzzle pieces in the PrefeQ Realty brokerage. You know what I'm saying? So we're happy to have you, bro. We appreciate the hard work you're doing. Like I said, I hope everything going forward just continues to move in the same direction for you, and you're gonna see, great future in real estate.
Yeah, I mean, you saying that reminds me of when I was trying to sign with my brokerage. So yeah, I know I signed with Fabian because I knew him or whatever, but that wasn't the only reason why I signed with him. I actually did had interviews with other brokerage because from the time you get your license information, a lot of brokerages send you mailers
Yes,
and stuff
gonna
like that.
hit you up, call you.
So I mean, I did had a bunch of interviews with most of them, and it didn't seem as though they had like my best interest at heart
Right.
because I'm a person like this. If I'm starting something new, I'd like to be well prepared. So I'd like to learn a lot. I'd
Right.
like to, if it take me 5 hours to sit down and get information, I'll take 5 hours and sit down. And they weren't offering that. What is Fabian is offering me, he's offering me time to train me, right? I mean, If I call him at 8 a.m. in the morning, he answers his phone. 10 a.m., 10 p.m. at night, he answers his phone. Any question I have, I mean, I probably call him the most on a daily basis,
Right.
right? And so it's like that was something big to me because I don't want to be an incompetent person when it comes to my client. I don't want to tell my client, okay, yeah, this is it, and then
It's
get
not.
him into a jam
Right.
afterwards. So
Right.
like I want to make sure I'm competent. So like that's one of the main reasons why I chose Prefect Realty because Fabian um, assured me that those we don't want to call names, but like most companies, the managing broker, don't really have that time to sit you down and train you, or like
Right.
you call them, they don't answer their phone because
Right.
technically we as realtors were independent contractors.
Right.
Fabian is not our boss. We just need him to facilitate our license,
Right.
right?
Right.
So, and then one of the interview I went on, one of the broker kind of gave me that kind of vibe, like they give me that vibe. They didn't say that though. It made me feel as though
Right.
they're not gonna be there when I want them to be there. They were like, "Oh,
Right.
training is available if necessary." I'm like, "If necessary."
Right.
I'm new to
Important
real
too.
estate.
Right.
Like, I'm gonna need the training. I'm gonna need everything. I mean, like, for example, when I finished the listing, the contract, I'd like, "Hey, yo, I need you to check this stuff for me. Is everything done correctly?" I drove straight here. He's checking the document just to make sure I did it correctly.
Exactly.
That's I don't want to put 5% commission, 10% commission, and then at the end when it goes to the closing, you know,
It looks crazy.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. And that's why a lot of us are here. That's why a lot of us have the loyalty we have to the brokerage, and why like a lot of us don't plan on leaving. You thought it was a good April Fool's yesterday, the group text,
It
and say
was. It
you was
was.
going somewhere, huh? And
It
what they
was. It
told you
was.
about
It
that one, you know what I'm saying? Once you're in, you're in. You're not getting out.
was.
Not easy. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So yeah, bro. But like, we're happy to have you. You're doing a great job. Keep doing what you're doing. Forever fruitful to the
Yep.
gang.
Yep. It's all about the vision, man. It's all about the vision.
Yes, sir.
I see Prefect Realty becoming, like Century 21 or whatever, multiple offices.
In
That's the dream.
time, definitely, definitely, we're gonna do it. That's the goal. But if you need help out there, if you have questions, buying, selling, leasing real estate, residential or commercial, please reach out to us here at Prefect Realty, 247 Tollin Street, and let any one of our great agents assist you. And we're happy to have another day on the podcast. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Stay tuned for the fraud seminar coming to you April 25th at 6:30 p.m. featuring me, myself, Realty Ryan, Romano the Realtor, Christian Harrison, and a guest speaker. We appreciate you guys. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Yes, sir.